everyone, Darren here, and today's episode of WoTC Academy is once again a video brought to you by Community Ambassador Pontiac Pat as he covers the Part 2 section of the Camouflage bonuses and more specifically the Camouflage skills. Once again, thank you very much to Pontiac Pat and his assistant Joco3000 for the help in getting the clips and information needed for this video, but I'm now going to turn it over to Pontiac Pat as he explains the skills in more depth and detail.
Hello World of Tanks. Today we are completing our Camouflage series of tests. Specifically, we are going to look at silent driving, muffled shot, and green thumb skills. We found some interesting things, so let's get to it because there's a lot to cover. First of all, you'll recognize some of these numbers from our previous tests. We started with a base T55A, which we had spotting against a base T72 Ural, so our base spotting distance was the same. Made it really easy to know what to expect and to plan accordingly. First thing we did, once we got into the training area, is we tested what the effect of moving was on that. Now, based on the generic 25% reduction in camo for medium tanks, which is the standard. Not every tank is exactly that. We estimated that this would drop about 25% off of that base camo value, and over here we did the math for the actual result. You'll see it came out 357 meters, which is 24.2% change, and not quite 25%, but close enough considering our test. And we don't know if the T55A in our version of the game is actually a 25% reduction. So, but that's our observed result, which is a 7.1% change to the actual camo value, a negative change for moving with that particular tank. Now, we ran another test, this time with a commander equipped with silent driving. We expect 55% of that drop to be restored. You see the numbers over here on the left for what we predicted the result would be. Go over to the right and you find that the camo value increased by 3.8%, which was a 12.9% increase. We expected 13.6, but that was based on, if you look down here at silent driving, 55% of the tank's camo factor. So looking at this, 13.6 was 55% return of a 25% reduction. This is 12.9 is a 55% return of a 24.2% reduction. So the math works out right. It is giving you back 55% of what you would normally lose during a movement. So silent driving checks out A-OK. And you can see equipping it on this tank gives 15 meters additional effective stealth while moving. So moving on. Shooting, muffled shot. Again, go back to the baseline tanks, and we've got a T55A. We don't have any numbers here for prediction because we don't know what the, I believe it's called camo on shot in the API, what the actual stat is that affects this for the T55A. We know what it is on PC, but we don't know if it's the same here. So all we have is what we saw in the results. The result was that the camo value was reduced by almost 76%, which is about what we expect. Most guns seem to be in that ballpark, 70 to 80% reduction in camo value when you shoot. So that's perfectly acceptable. You can see when I shoot, he could spot me all the way out to 417 meters. Now, equip muffled shot. The description of muffled shot, if you look down here, says it's a 35% decrease to the effect of firing on your tank's camo. Language matters. So a 35% decrease. So that means take the 75.9% decrease, or 22.3% that goes reduced off the camo value. We would expect that number, that change, to be reduced by 35%. That's what it says. That's not what's happening. As you can see from our results, they're in orange. It only dropped about 7% off of that 76% roughly change, giving us back about 2% of our effective camo value. So that's only increasing, or excuse me, reducing the effect of firing by about 10%, not the 35% that's indicated. So that's a bug. Either the description is wrong and it's not modifying what it says it is, or the quantity of the modification is foobar. It's not giving the correct numerical change. What it's looking like it might be doing is, you look at this number here, your camo value when you're shooting went up by about 2%. Well, considering that this is about, from up here we know it's about 2% higher than the actual base. If the actual base was about 5% and it went up by about 2%, that would be about a 35% increase in the camo value after shooting. That's not the language that's used. That's a huge difference in the actual effect. So it may be that what they have is they've applied the 35% to the wrong number, that they're applying it to the residual camo value rather than to the reduction of the camo value. We'll see what happens. We will report this bug and see what they do about it. So muffled shot does give some benefit, but not the advertised benefit. Okay, moving to our third series of tests. This has to do with bushes and trees. We did a lot of time testing this. We tested out different kinds of trees. We tested out different kinds of bushes. And we found this is not like PC. If you look over here, on PC there are 3 levels of cover concealment given from bushes. Light bushes, medium bushes, and heavy bushes give 10, 25, and 50% camo bonus respectively. In our game, that is not true. In our game, everything we tested that gave a camo value gave the exact same benefit. And it worked out to be, in our tests, about 31.1%. There's some margin of error in that. I suspect it's probably a 30% improvement. And we just got a little bit high on our test results. So think about that. 30% is a lot of camo value. When you use bushes correctly, that makes tanks really hard to spot. Small bushes, big bushes, doesn't matter. What does matter, though, is you have to make sure that the foliage on the bush covers all of your tank. There are several detection points around the circumference of your tank and on top of the tank. They have to all be protected by the foliage, or you're not going to get the benefit. Now, next column here, you'll see I have scrub bushes and trees. You'll notice on some maps, especially winter maps, there are bushes and trees that don't have a lot of foliage. They're just deciduous trees that have lost their leaves or something to that effect. So they look more like a bundle of sticks than they do a fully blooming tree. These do not give any camo bonus at all. We verified it. We tested both the bushes and the trees. So if it does not have foliage, actual leaves on the tree, or needles in the case of pine trees, it's not giving you any bonus. So don't worry about it. And we did test pine trees as one of the trees, and they work just fine. They're a little bit harder to hide behind because they're narrower, but if you get your vehicle properly positioned, you will get the camo benefit just like every other tree. Okay, that takes us down to equipping a green thumb. We expected it to be a 10% increase in the benefit of that foliage. We weren't sure if it was going to be an additive bonus, meaning the 30% would become a 40%, or a multiplicative bonus, which would mean the 30% became a 33%. Doesn't matter. The result of the test is this skill is not working. It did not give any benefit whatsoever. So if you're currently running green thumb on your crew, you are currently wasting a skill slot. Hopefully they will fix that now that they're aware that it's bugged. But as of now, green thumb is useless. So there you go. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Silent driving is working as advertised. Muffled shot is working, but it's not working as advertised. Green thumb isn't working at all. So you've got all three cases here. I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.
And that concludes today's video. Once again, I'd like to thank Pontiac Pat and Joco3000 for their assistance in this video. Also, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, this has been Darren of WoTC Academy.